Good. Oh, you better clean my glasses. Mhm.
Hello, David.
Hi, Joanne.
Where's everybody else?
Well,
Gave
Adam had
up.
to go into work, and I haven't heard from the two Bills,
Bills.
Bill and Bill.
Bill and Bill. All right.
How are you this morning?
Oh, well, I am thankful that it is not 95 already. Uh,
Indeed.
it's been a little warm. Yes, the cooling. I can handle 85. I mean, we made it through. We don't have any air conditioning, and that's fine. But it gets hot and it gets hard to keep working. And I can't work. I'm on the porch right now, which is really a sunroom. So you're not in here at all during
No.
those weathers normally. Right now, there's enough of a breeze I can do it. But yeah, just kind of moving around, finding a space you can work in, not working too hard, trying to get things out of the garden before they fry.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, dear.
But anyway, how was your trip?
Actually, we had a very nice time. We had a great time with our grand puppy.
Great.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
the weather was really very nice.
Was the weather good? Yeah, good. You didn't hit because you were in San Diego, did you say?
Yeah, San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And, because we had to stay with the dog, we didn't do anything except be with the dog. But this was her parents have a very nice house and a lot of outside area
Nice.
set up for sitting around or eating,
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Were you near the water?
Well, it wasn't too far away, but
Well,
we
like I
weren't.
said-
We saw it on our drive to the airport.
Oh. Not very close.
We could have taken the dog to a dog beach that exists there, but it was like a 40-minute drive.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We decided not to bother.
Right.
So we were very glad to get home, actually.
Yeah.
It's good to get away, but it's good to get home.
But it's good to get home. That's true. That's very true.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking my granddaughter is in the Azores right now.
Oh, wow.
Her stepdad's family, both his parents emigrated from a village in the Azores. And live in Bristol, Rhode Island, large Portuguese community there. And they both have siblings who live there, but they have a lot of families still back in the village. And so this is a trip they'd been hoping to do for a while, but of course the pandemic held it off. I don't know whether there's 15 or 18 of them that went over together.
Oh my goodness.
So it's Rosina and her mom and her stepdad and his two kids from his previous marriage, his sister and her son, the parents, right, Fernanda and Juan, and then at least several siblings of both of theirs. I don't know how many. Fernanda's sent some pictures, so I've seen at least two of her sisters that I know.
Yeah.
Because the family does a lot of big gatherings and we've kind of been invited to that, anyway, it's kind of amazing. So it's amazing to see now, there it's 78. I mean, it's been frying in Portugal and it's been burning in Portugal, but the Azores are quite out in the Atlantic. So
yeah.
I was like, oh, speaking of trips, maybe the next time they go. I mean, I love to go places where I am with people from there, right? I'm not much of a tourist in terms of, like I don't know anybody here, but luckily all of my travels overseas have been with war resisters, right?
Yeah.
And so you either stay with somebody you know, or you stay in a B&B pension conference center with people you know, and you're hosted by a local group. And so they do the kind of political tours or tell you which is the best museum to go to or the place to hang or whatever, right? So it just looks like, oh, maybe the next time they go, I'll tag along. That would be lovely. I'm also fascinated by how much the Azores might be like Ireland. You know,
Oh.
two islands in the Atlantic with a fishing culture very much. And my family is from, you know,
Uh-huh.
the shoreline in Dingle, so in Ireland. So anyway, but yeah, but it's still good to be home. But sometimes we've been home for too long too, you know.
Yeah. That's possible too.
Well, the pandemic's kind of kept me down, yeah.
Well, our boy Zach and his wife and all were part of this 22 member group went on cruise,
Right.
and several of them came back with COVID.
Oh, you know, those cruises do that, yeah.
Our daughter-in-law, her mother, her grandmother, I
Oh,
don't know who else, but
ouch. Ouch, ouch,
anyway.
ouch. Yeah, I don't imagine that I'm really a cruise person, you know.
Oh, I'm not.
I've never been on one. I've never wanted to go on one. It feels to me confining if
Yep.
I have, you know, an ability to go somewhere, you know, and also a number of people have said to me, oh yeah, but they feed you 3 meals a day. Well, that's not a bother to me. Like if that, I'm not going on a cruise if someone else will feed me a lot of food I would normally not eat, you know?
Yeah. The only cruise that I ever think I would have been tempted is one. There was one in which Brubeck and Desmond were the entertainment, and they did a series of concerts every night.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if that would happen up along the Alaskan coast, you know, to me,
Yeah,
like
that's
the only
right. Well,
cruise I've heard people enjoy, which is not really a cruise ship, but really almost like a ferry boat where people
yeah,
camped out in the back instead of the cars being there,
yeah,
was yeah, was up to Alaska,
yeah.
which I would think would be beautiful and different. So
So it looks like
it's us.
it's just us, Joanne.
And maybe, well, we shouldn't go too far, David. We shouldn't get, we shouldn't get
Well,
out of, yeah.
my intention was not to go too far. So
Okay, it's up to you as to what you want to do. They can all access this recording, or we can make it short and kind of deal with a few things.
well,
I don't know.
yeah, let's deal with some things. Actually, I was really kind of going to deal with things and do a kind of have everybody, do their form and not demonstrate, but let me really see where people are and work on places we needed to work on. And then I have kind of a longish talk on the left, right, and central channels, which is really good and has a lot of really important information that I wanted to give to you. So I think we can just go ahead and we'll
do that. Do what you've got planned, and
yeah. And so I will sound the non-sounding Ting Shaw for you. So questions? Report.
I don't think I did do some practicing. I did feel like in the heat, one of the things that I could do, and I felt like I needed to do anyway, was just really work on my breathing. Work on the breathing without moving, right? I mean, without, doing the form as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that I have the breathing. I mean, I think I have the mechanics of the breathing. I think I understand it better now than I did a month ago as to what I'm trying to do and the like. The other day, I was outside doing the breathing, and I, had been counting in that last paragraph you have in the last handout in terms of, working towards, 10, 10-second breath here, and I thought, oh, well, I should check it on my phone. And what I thought was 10 seconds is really only 7. I think I'm counting too fast. And so then I'm like, whoa, like those last 3 seconds are a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's a good goal, and it's a good practice that you can do, whenever, right? Like it's
Sure.
not something I need to, feel like, I mean, yeah. Anyway, but I think that I'm advanced enough, in this practice to kind of really keep moving in that direction of, really getting better and deeper about the breathing.
So, what are you feeling in terms of breathing into the upper lungs or into the brain?
I do feel more of I was trying to think of what the words were, more of an aliveness or an awakeness in the brain when I really concentrate on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much I feel the brain itself in terms of that, spacing and the like, but I think I'm moving in that direction. But I could definitely feel a difference as I concentrated on that this week than I had before. And some of it's just probably an awareness, right? You're paying more attention to your brain than you are to your lungs. I don't have to pay attention to my diaphragm anymore. Everything feels like I'm moving things in the right direction. So that's always helpful, right? You get to the point where, all right, now I can pay attention to the next, have an awareness of the next step. But I do feel, I think aliveness, awakeness is, I wouldn't say tingling at this point, although there are a few times when I could really feel a tingling at the top of my head, which is interesting.
Yeah. Eventually, I think you'll be able to actually feel the movement of the chi into the brain.
Yeah. And I think I'm beginning to feel that. I mean, I've done all the, and I'm very aware of, the pulses and all of that as well. So that's kind of something to, the foundation that's,
good
for me to access.
So what I was going to have everybody do, and it's going to be just you, is just to flow through what the gods. And since it's just you, I'm going to say just, how about 10 repetitions? Is that possible?
That would be good. Yeah, I know. I had to go to the chiropractor yesterday. My left ankle is hurting a bit. I put some ointment on it that Maria gave me this morning, which made it feel a little better, but I don't want to test myself too much. I may sit down for 3. That does seem to be my sore spot.
Okay.
Especially as I would be moving to the left onto that left foot.
Sure.
Then I can't do 4, 5, and 6 if I do that, right?
Yeah.
So how does that sound?
That's fine.
I'm gonna kind of set it up so it's an easy switch. That's kind of what I can do when I'm not on the computer more easily.
Sure.
I'm not kind of trying to doing it here for someone else, but.
Joanne, that's perfectly all right. I understand the issue.
Yeah. We're getting better, but we don't want to go back. There are times when that's important. I'm pushing myself too much.
Remember the 70% rule.
Out there. I'm not sure. You should also tell me what you can see or not see and what more I need to do on the computer here.
Well, I see you about from the waist up.
Yeah, I know. I can probably do it a little bit better, but.
Yeah, that's good.
Better.
Yep. Well, the first thing I would say is you've made a huge improvement in getting your hands aligned with the left and right channels.
Yes, thank you.
Very good.
I worked on that one. Yep, no more.
No, that was good. You know, overall, you have the basics of
Mhm.
everything. It's really, I would say, you know, a couple of refinements, and I'm gonna try not to throw too much at you at
That's
once.
okay. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I can tell some of them myself, right? So as soon as
Yeah,
I
well,
feel
of
like I've
course.
gotten something, then oh, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Yeah, so.
Um, Another general thing that I would say is that it seems to me that I'm not seeing the bending and stretching going
Mm.
all the way to the fingertips.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yep, I do.
There is a
Kind of more the
sense,
hand, the wrist, I feel it very clearly there, but yeah.
yeah, but somehow, sometimes where I was really looking at it is in 3,
Oh,
where
interesting.
you were, you know, you have the
Mhm.
extending out, but then when you come back in, it should go all the way, you know, into the fingertips,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you have the going out. And when you're doing this seated, doing 3 seated, I think a good focus is on breathing into the spleen and the liver,
Mm.
because you're not able to do the entire energetic movement. You
Yeah.
can, but it's not as effective. Whereas even seated, you can really do an effective breathing into
Uh-huh.
organs.
That's right. Yeah, I understand that.
So that's, I think, a good focus there. In 1, let me just make me.
Mhm.
Oh, no, that wasn't what I meant to do. In 1, making sure that it is tough. You're bending as you're coming down. Everything's bending. You want to make sure that you don't do all your extension at the bottom, so that when you're coming up, it's just lifting the extended arms. So what I'm saying is to try to not let the arms, indeed, as you reach the bottom, coming down here, they start to extend, but you want that extension to continue all the way through that movement.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, yeah.
Feeling that I really saw that happening. 2 was good. What was basically 2 seemed to me to be doing really quite well. Make sure that you don't let it slip into 5.
Yep.
And that was happening a little bit when you got to here, because the rise in 2, the extension on 2, begins at this point.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
In 5, as you know, it doesn't begin, but it's gone a little further.
But I might not be doing it low enough, is what you're saying. I mean, I know I'm not doing it as high, but maybe I'm not doing it as low as I should be. So it begins at the quad.
Well, what I was feeling was that you were going to this connection, but starting up before you started to extend, and it does.
It opens at the connection, after the connection.
Yeah, So
Yeah,
as
yeah,
soon
yeah.
as you make that connection, it begins in two to extend. It's different that way.
Yeah.
Remember about the elbow rotation. So when you get to here at this point, the elbows drive the movement, and they
Okay.
begin to drop immediately. So you were going on out, elbows out.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Okay.
And the elbows, the direction of the circle stays the same. It's just that the elbows drop and drive it.
Yeah.
So that was good. And actually, 5 and 6, they're coming along just fine. I don't think I'll say anything else about them at the moment.
I feel like I was beginning to lose energy in 6, and I don't know that was being tired, or I don't know, but or just not focusing enough, or having focused a lot on the breathing part of it, and then feeling like the breathing was getting shorter rather than longer. But yeah, but I'm aware of that. So
I guess the only thing I would say about 5 and 6 was to keep trying to be really aware of keeping those postures condensed when you make that transition.
Okay.
And that's hard, and it takes a while.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have other questions in there?
I don't think so. I think I'm getting the breathing much better. Like I said, there's some of that you're just not thinking about anymore after a while. So
Sure.
Well,
no, I think you're doing well overall. So these are just
no, it's very helpful. It's very helpful to have
refinements
this. Yeah. It's hard to know what you should be working on if you're not aware of it. Little things like that.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So let me go to this discussion of the channels and what we're
okay. And this will be in the handout.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a faithful reader. I copy them as soon as I get them. I read them the first morning. I highlight them. It's one of the ways I learn. I'm aware of that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. And I find this particular piece really important. And I don't think that I mean, this is the most complete discussion about this that certainly we have done up to this point, more than anything we've done before.
Okay, great.
So when we're doing movements 5 and 6, we're going to be talking about moving energy up and down your left, right, and central channels. So you have your mind, but to think in the beginning that it's going to be anything more than tentative is what the Greeks called hubris, or over-exaggeration, or my ego has gone beyond all bounds of reasonableness. But realize that in whatever it is going to take for you to go from just the putting of your intent on it, with all of it, the more you can come to that place between, beyond, not between, beyond yes and no, the faster you're actually going to understand how to direct your chi. Now, I don't like to use the word visualization because because then you're going to go back to being a kid who's looking at all kinds of pictures. Now, it's not whether you can do it or you can't do it. And it has nothing to do with me. But I'm encouraging you because I would like to see you do it at the fastest speed that it is humanly possible. But you have to always keep in mind that place beyond yes and no is the road to quick access. And this is how it is. And all I can say is good luck to you. The primary purpose of movements 5 and 6 is to activate, integrate, and circulate the energy between and through the left and right channels. So to start off, your left and right channels go through your bones in your arms and legs. And we'll get to the torso in a minute. They go through your bones. Your central channel, on the other hand, only flows through your bone marrow. You have a bone, and somewhere in the middle of it is the marrow. Of course, from a Western point of view, all your bone marrow does is make blood cells. But from an Asiatic point of view, it has got a few more things going for it. As in the Chinese statement, all is in the central channel, quote. From a point of view of spirituality, from the point of view of meditation, through the central channel is the only way you can know the universe. There is no other way to do it. Now, if you start really getting into what is the central channel, it is only what runs through the middle of your body. But it is the way the central channel functions through whatever you call this flesh thing that makes the difference. It is the way, but it's way more than that. Starting from that simple point of view, what you're looking for is two things: bones, left and right, marrow central. If you keep that simple thought, the circulation is not really complex at all. Now, the next thing is this: where in your torso is your central channel? Well, Cyclops demonstrated it to the men of Ulysses. He took a nice big pointed stick and pushed it through from the top of their heads through their perineum. So if we look at your torso, it is vaguely a tube. If you go from the crown of the head through the center of the body to the perineum, give or take, you've got where the central channel is. It's in the center of your torso, exactly in the middle, equidistant from the front and the back, the left and the right sides. It's in the middle. And that's why it's called central. You can really let go of Ulysses. All I did say that was I very deliberately wanted you to not forget where it is. So the central channel has a number of qualities that are incredibly important. But let's look at what the left and right channels do first. Your body has, for all practical purposes, 4,000 functioning energy channels, somewhere between 4 and 5. It all depends exactly how you want to look at it. So you're perhaps getting the idea that the acupuncture model is kind of partial, although it works really well for a whole bunch of issues. But you have 4,000 to 5,000 functional energy channels in your body. And at the end of the day, what originally created these channels and what is activating them is your left and right channels. If somehow you can get the flow between your left and right channels to completely do its thing to the rest of you, those 4,000 or 5,000 channels are going to be happy campers. They give you no problems, and everything they can do for you, they will do for you. But that is if the left and right channels are 100% copacetic. They are 100% good. And on that note, probably forget it. You're a human being. You have a human body. And believe me, some of them are going to be off. So the circulation of energy in the left and right channels in your torso runs from your shoulder's nest past the nipple to the qua point in the middle of the inguinal crease. At the top, they actually go into the neck and come up right alongside the central channel. They're not on the outside, they're actually deep in. And they finish and join just underneath the crown of your head, where they join with the central channel. And the central channel then keeps on going, but your left and right channels don't go beyond your bone, beyond your body. The way in which they effectively go beyond your body is that in some way they make some impression on your central channel. Only the central channel goes beyond your body. Now, there are several pathways that the left and right channels may use coming down the head. So the left and right are going to go down through your head, down your body, and down your arms. The central channel is where there is a very big difference between Taoist and many other traditions. Everybody works with the central channel in the world of meditation, one way or another, but Taoism has a particular point of view on that, and that's going to be in God's plane in the clouds. Almost all the central channel work that is usually done in most traditions, including the fire tradition, is just about opening up the central channel so you go up, and bing, when you get to the top, you suddenly are enlightened. Well, Taoism actually has a big thing about not just making it go up, but making it also go down. The Taoists have a big thing about this, which is different than any other tradition. The phrase that's used in Taoism, which has many levels of meaning, is heaven, man, and earth. And man, human, is between heaven and earth, between your head and your feet. But they're not just talking about that, because when you're talking about the earth, you're really talking about the planet we're on and the way the energy from the earth affects a human being. Of all the major spiritual traditions on the earth that have an extremely developed meditation and spiritual tradition, most stop at that edge. Shamanic traditions don't go into meditation. They stop at power awareness. But the Taoists consider that a human being through the earth can connect with heaven. Now, where is heaven? Above or below? The earth is, when you're into the core of the earth, the energy of the earth is coming up into your body every day from the center of the earth. If a human being can actually get that, not as an idea, but as a reality, they will find all the destruction that is done to the planet to be the same thing as torturing their own body. And they're not going to just stand for it. They're not going to go, oh, that's too bad, they're doing that big chunk of the earth. If a dog started eating your leg, you wouldn't say, oh, that dogs do like to chew things. You would take a little bit more personally. But there is also heaven. And they're talking about your head and everything that's out there. They're not just talking about what's above your head. they're also talking about what's underneath the earth, because there is a lot of universe out there. They are also talking about that there is a lot of universe to the sides. So this awareness of tapping into some sense of universality has to happen through the central channel. Now, why have I gone into this thing about Taoism? Well, this is simple. The energy of heaven is both descending into you and it is also rising up into you. It is rising up not from the core of the earth. That's the energy of the earth, which rises up inside you. It is rising up from everything in the rest of the universe that comes through this rock we live on. Now, when you're talking about the earth, you're talking about two primary forces that affect you, act on you. The first one is distinctly fire and light. Why? The Earth's core is fire and light. The Earth's core is molten. It is one big fireball, and that fireball creates incredible light. And this is very often when people think that they're having super high metaphysical, spiritual experiences. All that has actually happened is that they've accidentally tapped into what was coming from the earth 24 hours a day. They like to think it's their own personal discovery at the end of the personal journey. Well, I have to tell you something. Rabbits get it too. So whatever you're feeling just too high, and you might remember the almighty rabbits. But there's something else. The earth has another quality. The gravitational pulling us down is a quality of earth. But there is something that's more important about it than just the fact that it's pulling us down. And that gravitational field is what integrates us into being one being. People talk about being grounded, and that's nice. There is dirt on the floor. No, it's actually about the fact that the dirt is integrating. In Chinese five-element theory, the way they use it is that inside of Earth, there are all the other elements, one way or the other. Burn a tree and you get ashes. Water eventually ends up on the earth and mixes with it and fuses with it. There is no such thing as completely dry dirt anywhere, at least on the face of the surface. So all this gravity is the ultimate source in a human being of easily accessible stability. And that's the quality of Earth, central equilibrium. All the elements mix with it. If your mind disconnects from the element of the earth long enough, your mind cannot be stable. It's not stable. Likewise, if you can increase your connection to earth, your mind, instead of floating and being scattered, pulls all together. And I'm not talking about your mind now in the sense of your thinking. I'm talking about the sum total of every second of experience you will have while you're conscious enough to have it. Earth pulls it all together. So the Taoists are very big on getting the flow up and getting the flow down the central channel. The flow down has to connect to the left and the right, which is how it manifests through your channels. The left and right need to connect as it goes up. So the Taoists see this flow through between the left and right channels being primary. As a matter of fact, their whole reincarnation theory about what you do when you're floating out there for a long time actually works on this. The Taoists have practices that you do when you are dead, when you don't have a body, when you're non-corporeal, when the size of your body can be between two star systems, because you're not going to have the binding effect of the earth. The binding effect while you're on this earth, on this planet, has a lot to do with going down. And I am trying not to sound too weird with this.
It's okay. I get it.
But now I'm really going to sound weird. With the oral tradition of Taoism, it is stated that Taoism is practiced in millions of galaxies, not millions of planets. We don't know how many galaxies are out there, but they actually say that in plain English. In terms of the universe, it is all over the place. But they're only talking about what are the laws that a person is subject to when a body and without a body, even though the laws themselves may change in the way they get applied. So all I'm trying to say now is the flow through between your left and right channels and your central channel, both up and down, is a big deal. Remember, we talked about the terms which refer to it's not important, wu so wei, and it's very important, yo so wei. This is very important. How you play around with it is probably not important. There are a million ways of doing anything. But remember, the more you go to beyond yes and no. So I want you for a couple of days to think about how many things your mind says yes to and how many things your mind says no to. If anybody can actually come up with a number, I'm really going to be amazed. I don't know if anybody can count that high. Maybe if you have a supercomputer, but there will be too many. It's infinite. It never stops. But part of what you're considering, of why you're considering everything in 5 and 6 to begin with, is that you are doing what you can to make sure that the energy in the left, right, and central channels of your body doesn't scatter. You're deliberately concentrating it inside these channels, and that's the point. So when you're doing 5, as we actually are probably aware, at this point, you've been bringing the energy up, and then you're sending it out and down through the left and right channels, and then in, connecting to your perineum, and coming up the central channel to the crown of your head, and going out and down to the bottom of your feet, and then in and up. So now exactly where you turn over when you're bringing it up can vary. Maybe your hands come up to heart level. Maybe that's as high as you can get the energy to go. And you run out of puff. It's not a problem. If you run out of puff in the central channel, then it's time to start splitting into the left and right. And if you run out of puff in the left and right, it's time to start splitting to the central channel. So it's not that your hands have to go to a certain place. If you're talking about the ideal, it is very simple. Actually, we know that at this point, the energy is coming up the central channel, and then it's going splitting in and down the left and right. It's going up to the crown of the head and down to the bottom of your feet. That's kind of the ideal, but that isn't necessarily exactly how it will work for you at this point. Matter of fact, it's not an exact, precise way of exactly when you pull or make the energy go down or up. So when we do 6, we're actually doing somewhat the opposite movement. We're coming up to the crown of the head and down the central channel. So we have the movement in both directions, up the left and right, and down the central channel. Not that you don't already know that. But if you notice, they are, of course, opposite movements. And what you're trying to make happen is so that the flow goes down and up into the central channel. Down, essentially bringing everything from the crown down, and from the bottom, essentially bringing up heaven from below your feet, and bringing up earth at the same time. And all you're doing is you're trying to make the way the energy is going to flow between your central channel and your left and your right channels very even in both directions. From the point of view of just your body and health, this is about as effective a means that exists of regularizing the emotions that you can do for the chi in your body. You want to get things right down to the simplest stuff so you can get everything in it that these two movements have. However, you have to start from the beginning of your flow because your system has to be set up to accept the movements through the left and right channels. When your arms are coming down the sides, is the energy also going up your left and right channels? Yes, but your legs, but if your legs are not connected to your torso, guess what? Heaven and earth don't communicate. So you're opening up your body in stages, but the payoff is in movements 5 and 6. You're squeezing everything in from that 30%. You're doing exactly the same procedures in movement 6 that you did in 5, even though the movements are subtly different. All you're doing is you're making sure your system exactly balances out. So there's a lot in there.
There is a lot in there. It's rich, which is good.
Yep, it is. And so I'd be interested to have questions and comments on that when you've had time to digest it a
To
bit.
digest it. Yeah. No, I'm interested in doing that.
So any other things in relation to gods at the moment?
I don't think so.
Okay.
it's a lot to, yeah, there's a lot there, but a lot that, yeah, I'm interested in, so,
Good.
in understanding more deeply, so.
All right. Well,
And I think it's interesting you have the comments in there about, okay, this may sound weird, I think that, I had 16 years of Catholic school, David. I got a lot of kind of things may sound weird.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry for you.
Oh, the last 4 years were my choice more than the others, but
Oh, good.
but anyway, I mean, I'm drawn to the spirituality, so I think that yeah. Yes, diving into it more. Delving in, diving in.
It at least gives us another perspective.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Well, it's one of the reasons I'm drawn to Tai Chi. It's not just the physical aspects of it, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's really important, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Good. Well,
Good.
we'll make this the end of God's.
Yes. I'm not sure I have anything left for the beginning of the flow, to be honest.
All right. Well, we don't
I
have.
did not do much because of the heat. I really
Sure.
didn't do much. And I think because of my left ankle, which isn't too bad, but I'm sitting now.
Well, yeah.
I should also say I will be here next week, but the week after is the week I'm away.
Okay.
And there'll be no grandchildren with me for most of the first 5 days anyway. So I plan on doing a lot of practice.
Oh, good.
Which would be great. So, I keep that in mind for maybe for next week. Yeah, being able to do a flow so that I can also get some feedback from you.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Good. Well, then we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. We will. And one of these days I'll get there. I understand the road's closed again. Is that right?
Yes. Well, yeah.
85,
85. 82, 85. Whatever that is down
It's
there.
82. 85 is the one from New London. 82 is the one
Yeah.
from Norwich. 82. I can see 82 from where I sit. Yes, it's 82.
There is a drive around on the directions on the website.
Okay. I mean, last year when I went, or was that time when we were coming, when I was coming for a while, I did a drive around
Yeah.
at Salem Four Corners. I went north and then across.
Yeah.
So.
There's several ways you can go,
Okay.
actually. So.
All right. Very good. Yeah. One of these days I'll have to get back. But then, the with this new variant, the numbers are still high. So.
Oh, I know. I'm still wearing masks, and even though
Yeah.
I'm in the minority.
No, well, yesterday, Monday, whatever day, Monday, I guess our cat has cancer, and we brought her to a vet, the specialist, just get some consulting as to what we might do. Nobody brought their animals in. They met you at the door. The doctor came out and talked to you. Everyone was masked. And I thought, well, I
Good.
wear them wherever I go. I go to the bank. I don't go many places. I'd love to go to a women's basketball game, but I won't go into the arena. So,
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah, no. So I just and lots and lots of people I know are getting this variant.
I know.
A lot of people. Yep. So I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a big deal, but still you're down for 3 or 4 days. You don't feel great. You're isolating for a long time. Yeah. No.
It can be a real interruption.
It can be a real interruption, and I have very little patience for that. Trying to catch up, not fall back. Anyway, all right. Thank you, David. This is a good class.
Thank you.
Yeah, another private class. I've had a private class in a long time.
Yeah. Good.
All right, guys, come back next week.
Indeed. We'll look forward to seeing everybody next
Good
week.
to see you. All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.